What's good, everyone? My name is Jake, and you're watching Guilton Adventures. And today is Friday, October 30th, and I just got done with work. My dad is on his way. I got all my stuff packed, and me and my dad are going to be headed to Kansas for our first ever out-of-state hunt, and we're going to be chasing whitetails. So we'll meet you down there, and hopefully we get on some deer and maybe some nice bucks. So keep watching. I won't be able to see it, but
Yep, yeah, they both tail across the creek. Woods there.
well, maybe drive. See if we can get an eye on it. Well, guys, it's officially the end of day 3 here in Kansas. I just wanted to give a quick update on everything that's been going on. So, Saturday morning, we got here early, pretty much on like 2, 3, 4 hours of sleep. We took turn driving 10 hours from Wisconsin. And we did a lot of driving around right away and scouting. Saw some does from the road, probably like 15 deer from the road. And then Saturday night, we went in and ended up having some up close action. I could have shot a doe, I could have shot a spike buck. Some fawns came by me, and ended up seeing 4 bucks that night. 3 1-year-olds and maybe a small 2-year-old. But anyways, passed those up and had some good action. Day 2 was pretty rough. We're seeing quite a bit of hunting pressure. There's a lot of out-of-state plates, which is kind of expected, I guess, for the rut in Kansas. But more hunting pressure than I thought. But yeah, day number 2, bumped some deer going into a stand and saw some signs, saw some scrapes, saw some rubs, but didn't lay eyes on any bucks. Day 3, we had a rough morning. It rained and the roads get really slick up here, so it's pretty tough driving around. But tonight we actually went in and actually had a pretty close encounter. We were set up around this spruce tree, dad on one side and me on the other, and the decoy out, and we ended up seeing 2 shooter bucks. Unfortunately, I didn't get them on film because they came in so quick. Well, at least on my side, and I ended up shooting, and unfortunately, I did end up missing the deer. What we think happened is my arrow deflected. It was like a 40-yard shot down into the creek bottom, and we think my arrow deflected. So we looked for blood. The deer ran away with its tail up and snorted, and checked the arrow, and there was no sign of hair, any fat, any gut, anything. The arrow was just clean beside some dirt. So we think I hit a branch, unfortunately, but we did see 2 decent bucks and had some action. So hopefully we got like 4 days left, so 3 down, and we're learning a lot. There's kind of 2 types of habitat that is around this area in Kansas. Unfortunately, there's a lot of cow pasture, so stuff that kind of looked like it might be good on a map because it had draws of timber and CRP and crop fields on the outside is actually cow pasture. So the trick is to find good cover and food where cows are not, and that's kind of been what we've been trying to hone in on. But getting to those spots and not seeing another truck there is also a difficult part. So we're gonna try to get back on some bucks, and hopefully, if we're lucky, I'm gonna get a shot on film. So me and my dad are anxious to get back out there in the morning. So keep watching. It's gonna be epic. Let's go. shot was back. I literally looked up and I saw something and I'm like, bush. And then I thought I saw rack. And I'm like, and he was just staring at you. And I'm like, Dad, stop. And you're like, stop. And he was just staring right at the decoy. And I didn't have an arrow knocked or anything. I was actually standing.
Yeah, you were standing.
I was standing. So I slowly got low, reached forward. I grabbed my bow, but it's so thick, my quiver was kind of like hitting stuff. I got an arrow off, knocked it, clipped it, and then you got low, and he started working in. And I shot him at 40 yards, 40, but I thought, should I try ranging him or should I try not? It's in this pocket. I would have had to come up. When I drew back, I nicked something slightly, and he turned and looked at me.
I heard that, but he was focused on me.
But
he came in and looked in.
I don't know how I was so far back.
I heard it. It sounded like not rips. It sounded like you shot through it.
I thought up and down it looked good. My arrows, it didn't go all the way through.
It didn't.
No. The arrow stuck in him, but I think I only saw like this much, so I think I got enough penetration. The arrow stuck in him.
Do you think you hit hindquarter on the opposite? That's why that arrow didn't go through.
Possibly. It was pretty far back, and when he turned and ran, I could tell he was hit. When he turned and ran, I could see the arrow sticking out, but I think I got at least 10 inches of penetration minimum, I think. I mean, I saw him go to that corner, and then he just kind of stopped.
Yeah, he stopped. He ran, like I said. He ran hard, tail down.
He's hit hard. We gotta give him a lot of time.
I think.
Like, at least 6 hours minimum. It might be farther back than liver, though.
Oh.
Buck down in Kansas, baby. Well, I don't know what the last thing I really said was, but yesterday my dad and I came into this piece of walk-in, and as you guys saw in the footage, we were just setting up on the edge of a creek in this big CRP field, and it was just getting light, and we weren't even completely set up. Dad was walking out to put the decoy out, and I happened to look up and see a buck just staring at us at 70 yards, and I yelled at Dad, yelled to stop, 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 there's a buck out there. And he had the decoy in his hand, and he turned and saw it and kind of sank down and hid behind the decoy. And at that point, I slowly went for my bow. I didn't even have an arrow knocked yet. I didn't have my quiver off the bow. I always shoot without a quiver. So I crouched down behind the grass and knocked an arrow and just kind of sat on my seat I had there ready and waited, and the buck slowly crept in, just staring at the decoy. And well, I ended up shooting at a little over 40 yards. I put my 40-yard pin on him. I didn't get a range find him, but it ended up range finding at like 44 yards. And unfortunately, it was a poor shot. The shot was back, and we didn't know exactly where we hit, but we knew it was back and figured it was going to be guts. So we ended up backing out, and we actually ended up coming back the next morning, which is now, and for sure it actually only went 50 yards down in this bottom past where we last saw the deer. So the deer only ran about 150 yards and then just kind of bedded down. So it's a really good thing that we backed out and gave it overnight, because it's a little stiff, but it definitely took probably a while, a couple hours to die. Even if we went in last night, it still possibly could have been alive yet. So me and my dad have been hunting pretty darn hard and seen a couple nice bucks, but a lot of pressure and a lot of out-of-state hunters like us here in Kansas. So just because it's Kansas doesn't mean it's easy, but it's definitely fun. So we'll probably show you some more footage from there, so keep watching. Well guys, we're dragging the buck out now. Back by those, right here is where I shot him, kinda. shot him by that tree line, and he ran around this ditch right here. He ran around this ditch and kind of stood right here before this draw, and we last saw him going here, and he went down in that draw, and probably only 40 yards down in that draw, and that's where he died. But he was alive for a while, so we're really glad we backed out and let him lay, because if we would have pushed in right away, we would have bumped him, and who knows how far he would have went. So looks like I broke his back leg and got some of those big arteries in the back leg, which was what ended up putting him down. But not a good shot, nothing I'm proud of, but super happy to recover a nice buck with my dad. So more dragging right now. Keep watching. Well guys, here he is. We got him out of the draw and we're dragging him back to the truck. We got to quarter him up quick and get him on ice and get him out, but pretty special hunt. He's definitely not the biggest deer in the world, but he's a trophy to me, and a lot of firsts for this one. So it's my first public land deer ever, my first deer from the ground ever, my first out-of-state deer ever, and yeah, just really awesome getting him to come in the morning while we were setting up, and Dad was behind the decoy, as you guys saw, and he came right in. So when he turned broadside at 40 yards, I decided that I was going to be ecstatic with him and took a shot. Unfortunately, my shot was not great, but I know that, and we made the right move by backing out, and because of that, he didn't go too far, and now we got a beautiful deer, and fortunately we get to enjoy the meat as well. So we're gonna take care of him as quick as possible and get back to you soon. Thanks for watching.
Great job, Jake.
Sweet.
Kansas buck on the ground.
Boom. Well, guys, it's almost 2 months actually after this hunt actually took place. Finally got around to editing this video and figured I'd do a little closing bit on it. Obviously, here's my 2021 Kansas public land buck. I got him boiled up. I just gotta white up the skull a little bit and then finish my plaque for my European mount. But anyways, I just wanted to say a few things about the hunt. I guess the first thing I wanted to talk about is just the style of hunting we were doing. We chose to hunt together just because, one, it's more fun. You get to hunt with somebody, share the experience, see the same things, bond and stuff like that. We probably could have split up and possibly had better luck at, doubling our odds and shooting a deer, but we're both definitely happy we hunted together. But the style of hunting we were doing was really just going in blind, map scouting, and then going in blind to these pieces and setting up and calling, using a decoy, and kind of just hunting on the ground and waiting for a buck to come in. We ended up calling in, or my dad ended up calling in, I guess, quite a few bucks. We just didn't get a lot of them on camera. A lot of them were either too well, they weren't big enough. We didn't want to shoot, or they just didn't come in close enough. But we saw a couple decent bucks. We saw a couple giants from the road. One giant way out in the field that wasn't even close, but a couple nice bucks. And this style of hunting is just super fun and exciting. So I'd recommend trying ground hunting, calling, and just using a decoy. Maybe we would have better luck if we just sat in a stand on the creek bottom for, a 10-hour day, but this kind of hunting is just pretty fun, and that's kind of why we wanted to go to Kansas and what we chose to do. So the second thing is, just because it's Kansas doesn't mean it's necessarily easy. A lot of guys say Kansas, you just go there, sit, and a giant's going to come in. Well, it's not always the case. I mean, we hunted extremely hard. We crossed 40 barbed wires. Plus, this trip, we almost got dead 2,500 stuck because we were sliding off the road. It was so slippery. We almost got trampled by some cows. Maybe, maybe not. They got pretty close, but that was exciting. But anyways, it's not easy. We had our opportunities and got close to shooting, tagging out, but we ended up getting one buck, taking one home, and we had an absolute blast. So I think we're gonna plan something for next year, whether it's Kansas or not, or the same zones we went to or not. We're gonna at least apply and try to get a tag. But anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. If you like hunting, there's gonna be more videos like this in the future. But I also got a ton of other awesome fishing videos on the channel, and we're going to be doing a lot of ice fishing, and of course when spring comes, maybe some turkey hunting. So if you like any of that, hunting, fishing, anything outdoors, subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll see you for the next video. Thanks for watching.